Brook Reservoir, with water the color of the tropics right here in South Dakota. Located 1 mile from Hot Springs, South Dakota, Brook Reservoir isn't hard to find, but you do go through a residential area to get there. At Hot Springs, turn onto Badger Clark Road, and at the T intersection, turn right onto Evans Street. Around a sharp curve to the left, the road will split. If you turn left, you will go to a scenic overlook and access to a couple of hiking trails. The right road will lead you down into the campground, the day use area, and the lake, with the boat launch and swimming beach. The public land around Brook Lake adds up to approximately 450 acres. This includes the dam, campground, and improvements, which are owned and operated by the Corps of Engineers. There are no day use fees required, but camping fees run around $20 per night, and reservations must be made through rec.gov. Brook Lake has one of the nicest swimming beaches in the Black Hills, and with the beautifully clear water, it is one of the few places you will see people snorkeling. Only non-motorized boats are allowed on the lake. Like all lakes in the Black Hills, you are not allowed to launch from the swimming beach, but they do have a very nice boat launch. Since Brook is a little off the beaten path, it is a favorite summer destination for the locals who come to swim, kayak, canoe, and use stand-up paddleboards. But with a surface area of 33 acres, it is still easy to avoid the crowds. A large area of cattails provides habitat for a variety of aquatic life. This also includes a small, easy-access fishing pier and picnic table just beyond the beach. Even if you don't like to fish, this is still a great place to catch a glimpse of some of the many fish that are in the lake. The natural warm springs that feed Fall River and the lake help maintain the water level, with the deepest point being 38 feet. This also accounts for the beautiful blue-green color. The dam is 127 feet high and 925 feet in length. As flash flooding was common in the narrow canyons of Fall River, this impressive dam was built for flood control and to protect the city of Hot Springs, which had suffered at least 3 major floods before its construction. The June 17, 1937 flood caused approximately $200,000 in damages. It flooded again on September 4th of 1938, where they recorded floodwaters moving at a rate of 13,100 cubic feet per second, and finally again in 1947. The dam and the channel improvements within the city of Hot Springs were built under the Flood Control Act of 1941. Construction on the earthen dam began in 1949 and was completed by 1953. It was built by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Brook Lake is known for some great fishing. Rainbow trout are regularly stocked, and some grow to impressive sizes, along with the largemouth bass, which are believed to be reproducing naturally here. There are also nice catfish, which are listed as illegally stocked, along with northern pike, bluegill, and white crappie. About midway on the east shore, a long, narrow channel stretches out to the east. This stretch of water is approximately 1,000 feet long, but it does get more shallow the further you go. Hot Springs has a rich history. The Sioux and Cheyenne had long frequented the area and considered the springs sacred. And in 1875, Lieutenant Colonel Dodge, who arrived in the hills with the 1875 expedition, wrote a publication which stated, "Many deep and narrow box canyons unite to form a wide and deep gorge, perfectly dry until it reaches the foothills. Suddenly, a fine large stream carrying quite 2,000 miners' inches of water springs from the bottom of the gorge, and after a course of only 12 miles joins the South Cheyenne River. The stream is called by the Indians as Minnetonka, or Warm Water Creek, the temperature of the water where it bursts from the ground being 74 degrees Fahrenheit, entirely too warm for drinking purposes." Six years later, in 1881, 5 men formed the Hot Springs Town Site Company. Messrs. Jennings, Stewart, Dudley, Graves, and Evans were all businessmen who came to the Black Hills of the Dakota Territory during the gold rush of the late 1870s, but they didn't come to mine gold. They planned to develop the area, which contained approximately 75 warm water springs rich in minerals, as resorts for medical and pleasure benefits. At that time, it was common for physicians to prescribe mineral water as treatments for their patients, and as railroads reached the area, the health spa business grew. Today, only one of these resorts remains, Evans Plunge, which was built in 1890. The natural spring at the north end of the 70 by 200-foot pool produces approximately 5,000 gallons per minute, which is a flow sufficient enough to refresh the entire pool every 1.5 hours. I had a friendly dragonfly flying circles around me as I paddled. We have both dragonflies and damselflies in the hills, which are easy to tell apart. Dragonflies have thicker bodies and will hold their wings out to the side when they rest. Damselflies, on the other hand, are thin-bodied and will tuck their wings in alongside their bodies. They lay their eggs in or near water, hatch into a larvae, and go through several molts as they grow. At the end of the larval or nymph stage, they develop wings which are usable for flight after their last molt. Fossil records show prehistoric species once lived that are very similar to the dragonflies we have today, only much larger, some with a wingspan of more than 28 inches. I love the superstitions and the ancient stories about dragon and damselflies. They were once called the devil's tool, and it was said that if you slept near the water, they would use their long bodies to sew your eyes shut at night. In Germany, they were called the devil's horse or a water witch. In Norse mythology, they were associated with Freya, the goddess of fertility and love, probably because when they mate, their wings will appear to form a heart. But my favorite legend is that they were given an extra set of wings so that angels could ride on their backs. Dragonflies and damselflies pose no threat to humans, although the larger ones could give a small bite if you try to catch them. They do, however, consume huge quantities of mosquitoes, gnats, and other biting insects, so I'm always happy to see one. There are several day-use picnic areas around the lake. They all have covered table shelters and lake access for fishing and swimming. Fall River flows beside the campground and enters the lake at the north end. Campsites are primitive with no electric or water hookups, but drinking water is available. There are a couple of tent sites beside the lake, and then another picnic area, the boat launch, the swimming beach, and finally the dam. The north end of the campground is a wildlife area, with a non-motorized hiking trail good for a morning stroll or short bike ride. Be sure to make your reservations before you arrive, as phone signals are hit and miss at the campground. Pets are allowed, if leashed, everywhere except on the beach, and ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, and dirt bikes are prohibited unless they are licensed and street legal. There is so much to see and do at Brook Reservoir, and I haven't even mentioned the playground, basketball court, and archery range. There are also 2 stops in the area I would highly recommend. The first is one of America's oldest national parks, Wind Cave, which is one of the longest and most complex caves in the world. And there is also the Mammoth Site, the world's largest mammoth research facility and an ongoing indoor active dig site with over 60 mammoths and 87 other late Ice Age animals found so far. Check their website for information, and especially for their children and scout activities they offer. And before you know it, it's time to put the kayak away and head for home. I hope you enjoyed this tour of Brook Reservoir. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel if you did. Always remember to paddle safely and wear a life vest, this time and every time. And I hope to see you on the water soon in the Black Hills of South Dakota.